Look, Chris Hemsworth isn't even the best actor in his own family.
Hi, I'm Andy,
And I'm Roger,
and welcome to The Middle,
where we try to have thoughtful conversations
about awkward topics.
on our search to find the middle.
We're going to give you last week's news today.
It's a slogan we should put on a t-shirt.
Stop touching her!
I am tonight announcing my candidacy.
Taylor Swift. Look, my biggest issue with marriage is that I think that it's a fundamentally flawed institution that is built on the oppression of women.
I will not be lectured about sexism and misogyny.
Having truly rational conversations about controversial issues is risky these days.
Andy,
G'day, Roger.
how you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. It's a long weekend, so can't complain.
Well, that's true. Although I had to work the last 2 weekends. But anyway, so guess who I bumped into?
Does this involve you laying in the toilet trough of a urinal?
No, I've unfortunately I can no longer fit into my latex suit anymore, my gimp suit. I'll have to lose some weight first. You don't tend to bump into too many people in the trough, but anyway.
You weren't in the middle urinal, were you?
Well, you know, gone are the ways. I wonder if it's a form of gentrification where you move away from a trough and into the kind of individual stations of the cubicle. See,
Can I just say, since our episode on urinals, I cannot stop paying attention to the wet patch on the floor.
Yeah, me too. You know what? Like, kind of. I've got something to add in this space. So we always end up back here, unfortunately.
In the gutter.
In the gutter, in the trough. But yeah, I always judge like how bad the day's going by how big the patch is, because obviously, like if you work in an office and you kind of get into the rhythms, sometimes people are cleaner, sometimes they're not. And when there are bigger patches, I kind of say, oh, someone's had a bad day, or they just they're out of control or whatever. And then the other thing that I've noticed happening lately is how sometimes you go into urinals, the bathrooms, the gents rather, and they don't have paper towels, right? They only have the air blades or the hand dryers, whatever it is. I cannot stand that, and I won't stand for it, right? And because I think those things are horrible. They just spray. They don't really dry your hands. They spray water back, and God knows what other fluids back in the face of everyone, and vaporize essentially like urine and other things into the air. And they're loud, they're noisy, they slow down the flow of traffic. I fucking hate it, right? And even, it only takes one filthy bastard who doesn't wash their hands or doesn't wash it properly, and all that cleaning ritual is negated anyway because you have to touch the door to get out, right? It's the weak spot in the chain. It's the Achilles heel of the whole system of sanitation.
I do have one addition to the toilet ritual of our episodes before I ask you who you actually bumped into on the weekend.
I'm really drawing this out, aren't we?
But I have to get your view on the sit down way for men.
Oh, all right. I mean,
wait, is this going to be the whole episode?
No. Look, I think that if you go into the toilet to take a shit, then that's okay because you probably will wee as well, right? Like while you're there. I don't know anyone, like if you're someone who tells me that you only shit and you don't wee.
And then you shit and then you stand up. And
come on, let's be adults here. That's like looking someone in the eye and saying that you've never had diarrhea before. Like we both know that's not true. Like why pretend? So I just think that that's fine, right? Under those scenarios, it's fine. If you're talking about all you need to do is a wee and you just decide you want to sit down because you want to use your phone or something like that, there was a time and a place many years ago where I had an absolute disdain for people using their phone on the toilet. I just thought to myself, hey, this is so gross. Like there's so many germs. People can hear you like clicking, scrolling away, whatever it is. It's just like, can't you just keep it in your pants for the couple of minutes it takes you to go to the bathroom and then look at it outside? And I used to feel really, really strongly about this. But obviously, like as phones have just become so, ubiquitous and it's just seeped into our day, I do it now, right? Like I'll find myself just taking out my phone if I'm on the toilet for whatever reason. And but I used to really hate it, but now I've given in. So I think under those two circumstances, I will allow it. And yeah, but I just think that the sit down wee, just because you want to rest, it's just something weird about it, right?
But okay, so proponents for the sit down way would and sometimes, to be clear, it's women. It's because they don't want
Women with cocks.
no women advocating for the sit down wee for men is because because it avoids piss on the floor. It's a truly self-contained ecosystem.
Yeah, look, I mean, okay, and I guess I guess it's not such a huge issue for me that I thought, but I can understand that.
Well, okay, so yeah, I mean, like, I guess, like, I can't imagine anyone being against it, right? Like, as in, like, oh no, I'm fundamentally against people sitting down on the toilet doing wees, right? Like, I mean, half the population do like that.
But there's something like a bit obscene or luxurious about it, right? Like,
you know, it's not like we're asking, like, what do you think about squat toilets or something, right? So, but I think it's more, yeah, is it weird, right? Because apparently, and I don't know if this could be like I've misread this, but apparently this is like actually quite common in Germany.
Germany?
Yeah, like, I don't know. Maybe that's just a myth, but like,
is this like the Aldi thing? You know how they have like sit down checkout chicks, and they're just like everything's more efficient.
Maybe they're just doing wheeze while they work.
Everything's more efficient sitting down, right? Like,
all right, who did you bump into on the weekend?
Yeah, thank you for saving us. So I was with my little kids, and my daughter needed to go to the toilet, so I was running past, and I passed a.
Why did you have to bring it back to the toilet?
This is why I was thinking about it to begin with. And so my daughter's like, I gotta go to the toilet. So I'm carrying her. I'm like running, trying to like get the other kid to follow me. And I pass a bubble tea place, and I like run almost face to face, like less than a meter away. I look up, and it's Lleyton Hewitt staring back at me, right? And a woman, which I didn't immediately clock as Beck Cartwright because she didn't have any less, I don't want to be...
Well, she's Beck Hewitt.
Well, Beck Hewitt now, yes. But most people... Anyway, I didn't recognize her because she didn't really, like, to be kind about... Not to be unkind about it, she didn't really look like how I remembered her to look like. She didn't have her makeup on and stuff. But yeah, so I saw him and I was like, I really wanted to... and I'm not usually this type of person, but I 100% wanted to stop and engage him and ask for a photo or something. But I couldn't because my daughter was about to shit her pants, right? So I had to, like hustle back and hope that she was back. Hope that I would be able to come back and find Lleyton Hewitt so I could get that photo. But he was gone by the time I came back, along with his bubble tea. So it got me thinking, just, no one was mobbing him. Nobody was engaging with him. And I just kind of thought, that feeling when you notice a celebrity, but you're not, you go through this thing. It's like, oh, is that them? Am I sure it's them? And then you kind of like start to process it, and it's like, oh, I've seen this guy on TV, but he's here now, and it just feels a bit strange. And also, especially when no one else is bothering them, like there was no crowd around him, there was no one kind of staring at him, and that's.
Well, I think that's not that uncommon. Like, by the way, Beck Hewitt or Beck Cartwright. I remember seeing her, like, this is like way a long time ago. This is like when we were in high school at Castle Towers, at the, like, what are they? Is it Great Union, the cinemas?
Yeah, look, Andy, that's exactly where I saw them. So
okay, so she's like
around there.
She is like a mall rat. She's been going. She is like Kath and Kim mall rat. Yeah, like through and through. And she's been going there for like 25.
I love that. I mean, they used to live in the Bahamas, and I think they've come back because there's been this controversy where, Lleyton Hewitt's been fired for pushing a 60-year-old volunteer
from the Bahamas to Castle Towers.
Just as good. The bubble tea is probably better in Castle Towers.
But like, to be fair, I think most people kind of.
Did you say anything to her when you saw her?
No. I just I was just there seeing a movie, and it was the home and away era of Becca Cartwright.
So she's within range for us. She's our age. I
think. Yeah. But like it was like it was that era. So it was kind of like she was probably if not the peak of her fame, kind of maybe just before the peak of her fame. And the peak of her fame was probably not that high, but like, relatively speaking. Okay, but like, I think there's a lot of people just not knowing. Like, I think genuinely, if you take a photo of Lleyton Hewitt in the mall as you saw him, whenever it was, you just take a photograph. Yeah, okay. Take a photograph of him, what he looks like.
Yeah.
and you show it to 100 people, not like in any kind of obvious way, like, oh, do you know this guy, but like maybe put him in a lineup of like 20 other people or something, and then just quickly show everyone 20 faces and then ask the question like how many famous people were in that list at the end after showing them the 20 faces, like some kind of setup like that. I think you'll probably find that a shockingly low number of people would have realized.
You think?
Yeah, like I think a lot of people know Lleyton Hewitt, but I think to be able to like recognize in that setting without like the baseball cap backwards and the tennis racket and the shorts and all that, you know what I mean? Like I don't know what he was wearing.
Beard as well, actually.
Well, okay, well that's like extra.
But
I mean, I don't know what kind of beard.
A patchy Australian beard, like. But I loved it though because I grew up watching Hewitt and he's so Australian, like I know what you're saying too, because you could pick any number of Aussie blokes that we grew up with that kind of have a similar look, like that kind of ratty Australian look that Lleyton Hewitt has. So he has kind of a bit of an everyday face.
I'll go a step further. You could do the same thing with Adam Sandler or someone like that, like someone who's A-tier celebrity, right? And you just get them a bit sloppy. Like it's like when you see, I don't know, have you ever seen those paparazzi shots of celebrities who are actually quite famous, but they're like in their daggy, like they've just rolled out of bed and they've gone to like the, farmers market.
I must say that it's usually women, because obviously women are much more done up, right? They've got the makeup. And that's why I said about when I saw Beck, we're on first name basis now, she didn't look anything like what I remembered her looking like, Home and Away days, right? And
well, it is like 30 years later.
No, I know, but men don't usually have makeup, and so they can be bald and fat or whatever, but the fall is not as great.
Oh, it can be pretty great.
We're not talking about Ronaldo.
I know what you mean. But like with say this kind of setting too, it's also just like you're not looking out for it. Like, and the flip actually like
kind of shocks you, right? And it makes you have that double take, right?
But the flip side can be true too, right? Because I don't know if you saw that whole thing about Snoop Dogg in Melbourne, where they had this like, because he was there for the AFL Grand Final, and they had this like impersonator who like apparently was fooling everybody that he was actually Snoop Dogg.
It'd be so easy to fool someone for Snoop Dogg, right? It wouldn't take much.
But like, these are people who like were fans.
There's a guy that's famous that dresses up as Drake, and he pulls like heaps of women and gets into parties and stuff like that. Anyway, what I want to get to though is, okay, so my instinct, right, again surprised me, but say I didn't have to take my kids to the bathroom and I was able to physically harass Lleyton Hewitt, right? Ask for a photo, engage him in some kind of shit conversation. Like, am I entitled to do that? Like, what are your thoughts on that behavior?
Like, it's all about set and setting. So if you are at a restaurant and you're with your family and you're having a dinner and it's like a private sort of, I mean, it's a public setting, but like it's clearly, a private sort of environment in the context of that. I think that would be rude to go and sort of say hello or whatever. I think there's still part of these people who, as like, if you can genuinely go to the shops and relatively undisturbed or uninterrupted, like you probably, there must be like at some point where, and I don't know that this would be the case for Lleyton Hewitt, but there must be a point where like you actually kind of still like getting recognized. Like you kind of, part of you enjoys people coming up to you.
Especially for fades, right? Like if you used to be mobbed and now you're no longer, like your star has faded, surely that must be a very conflicted feeling where you're a bit upset, right? Like in the same...
I think they hate it in the moment, but then they like being respected and like it's part of their identity, right? So that's it. It's a little bit like being what I imagine it to be like, of course, to be a super attractive woman, right?
I was thinking exactly the same thing, and I thought, who's going to broach this topic first?
But it's like, you like being attractive, you like the cat calls.
Well,
because it means you
attention.
You like that you like the attention, but you hate the cat calls. Like that's probably what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. It'd be the same thing where it's like, well, all of a sudden you feel less relevant, like your star has faded a bit, right? And I kind of get that too. Now, keep in mind, in terms of what you've painted out as a setting and context, you know, he wasn't having dinner with his family. He was waiting for his bubble tea to be made. So I don't know. I think that's fair game. I think that's like
okay. I'll tell you what I think the line is. I think you just don't linger. So I think you can say, "Oh, hey, yeah, oh, nice, oh, great to see you. I could have a photo, quick snap. Us, oh, great, oh, thanks. Have a great rest of your day." And that's it, and you move on.
So you're saying I shouldn't take out my phone and show him like my forehand?
No. You've just got to move on, like, because this is
used to play back in the day.
This guy doesn't want to actually talk to you. Like, that's the honest truth. Like, unless it's that setting where they kind of there's a particular environment and they're courting it, like maybe they're, you know, it's like fan days or whatever, where they, you know, it's like for some people it must be energizing to engage in that, but like not when you're out, like just it's your day off or whatever. So I don't know. I think I think it's okay, but as long as you're respectful.
You know what's funny though, and the reason I'm bringing this up is that when I spoke to, you know, like my family members or some friends about this encounter, and I told them that I was considering, you know, like asking him for a photo or just even talking to him, they were all like really disgusted. They were just like, I would never do that. I would never do that. It's so unclassy. Like, you shouldn't, you know, you got to act cool and not kind of, you know, not bother them, right? And I don't know, is that an Australian thing to just be very immune to the whole celebrity thing?
I think going up to someone just because they're famous and you recognize them, like, I think that's that would be a bit like weird. You know, if you're
an actual
like,
fan.
if you're a fan and it's like someone you respect and there's something about it that's like, oh, this is so cool. Then yeah, I don't mind that.
Well, I mean, not to dob you in, Andy, but you have a history of stalking certain band members to have encounters.
Well, I did meet Slash.
Oh, you just bumped into him, did you?
Well, okay. I can't think of what the right analogy would be, but like I grew up, you know, really big fan of this guy, right? And this, for me, I think would probably the best translation I can think of is it would be like some fangirl kind of meeting Taylor Swift. Like it would be the equivalent of that for me, probably. So when you have the opportunity to do that, yeah, hell yeah, why not? It's cool.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, but you're kind of missing the fact that, and correct me, my memory is a bit hazy on the topic, but didn't you find out what flight he was on and then accost him at the airport?
Didn't know what flight, but did see at the airport, yeah.
That's awesome.
No, but why not? Why wouldn't you?
Can you imagine a point of time, given the lives that we lead right now, just be, I'm going to clear my schedule and I'm going to go to the airport and just wait so I can see Slash.
But like, this was like a phase of my life, I think, when there was a kind of thing about experiences, right?
Yeah.
So right from like going to Scientology and getting like e-metered to going, oh yeah, look, why not go and see Slash, you know, like the pushing the envelope of like extreme experiences, like things that are unique. And to be honest, I'm glad I did all of those weird and crazy things because they're things that you don't get to do when you have boring adult lives, right? So
that's what I was kind of going to, Andy.
I'm good with it.
Because I'm the same. I feel like I've never left that mindset where I love the extremes of experience and I'm always chasing, but my ability to chase has become severely degraded as I've become older because of all the things, right? I just thought we can update this. So say, I don't know, what's the equivalent? What's the middle-aged equivalent of finding Sam Harris's flight and accosting him at the airport? You know?
See, do you know what's funny about that? Like, because let's say as you get a bit older, like your idea of celebrity people you kind of you're interested in or you follow or whatever changes, right? So now, like, we're kind of more into like more boring sort of
intellectuals,
yeah, like podcasters and stuff. But like, I would have a sense of like embarrassment to do like that with Sam Harris or that with, or, you know, or someone like a Sam Harris. So not just like that I would go to the airport, like obviously that's like full extreme, but even like if I went to an event, even going to an event, like I have been to events like that. So I'm not going to say that going to an event is weird, but like if I was at an event and then Like, you know, when people bail up the speakers afterwards, like, I think even that's weird. Like, I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you naturally have a little bit more shame than I do. As a general proposition, I would kind of say that. But I understand what you mean. But I'm just reflecting on, don't you think it's a shame that no longer features in our thinking, in our thought patterns of like, oh, I'm really into X, Y, and Z. Why don't I chase it down? Why don't I try to?
Well, do you know why? Because we understand now that they can't stand people like us. You know
it doesn't matter because it's not about them; it's about you. And I think that's the thing, right? Like, I mean, in a way, right? This is why I've been trying to say, if this part of our life and this part of history, we should go to a Trump rally. We should try to meet Trump.
Okay, so that's different, right? That like I'm on board with that.
It's a quest.
But like when I went and saw Slash at the airport, that was a little bit like, you know, the tennis player throwing the baseball cap after they finished their match to the 12-year-old kid in the stands, and the kid being like delighted to have this hat, right?
Yeah, although in this scenario, the 12-year-old kid's like 2 foot taller than the.
There's a certain kind of like this is like a younger version of me who's looking up to this guy. Like and then he you know, even in the moment, I don't know, this age gap thing that's kind of underpinning it. So and so when you're younger, those kinds of exchanges do have that. But then I don't know if you saw that like example where there was a tennis player gave the cap to the kid, and then some like fucking dickhead like
the guy was like a Swedish CEO or something.
CEO, or no, Polish or something.
Polish, yeah, sorry.
He just like snatches the hat out of the kid. So that's kind of like the equivalent then of being an adult. Like it's like, I don't know, there's this like these fan moments of kind of get around kids, and it works for kids, and kids like are all starry eyed about it. And you can be naive about, well, when you're a kid, it's probably okay because like the celebrities are actually like about you, right?
But I think as you get older, generally, you find it harder to engage in fandom, right? Like especially individual.
I don't know if that's true.
Individual fandom, right? Like what I'm trying to say is that you can be an enthusiast about something, but this childish notion of like idolizing someone and kind of being swept up in this, you know, they're so great, they're so like putting them on a pedestal, that becomes harder, I think, because you know they're human, you know that their flaws, you know the buzz around things, the marketing around things, and yeah, you don't kind of like idealize people, right, or put them on pedestals as much as because you're not susceptible to that kind of thinking anymore.
So, what are the different types of celebrities?
Well, let's start with ones that actually have talent. So, you know, like I was thinking, like I was actually reflecting on the whole Lleyton Hewitt thing. This dude is not a pretty dude, right? Like he's not, he's not even particularly tall. He doesn't look like an athlete, right? But the reason he's so important, or he has celebrity, is because of his talent. This dude has won Grand Slams. He is number one in the world, let alone Australia, right? So I think that those kind of things is very easy to have celebrity and respect when you actually have talent that results in kind of success in whatever field you're in.
Yeah, well, talent is hopefully like, that probably used to be the predominant source of celebrity. You know, and I think
there's notoriety as well.
Yeah, but I think what happens is you get good at something, or you're the best at something, and whether that's sport, acting, or music, or whatever, or like, and you know, it's not like linear. You can have people who are lucky, like they're talented, or they've got some magic marketable factor. So it's like a bit of a cross between talent, but also some other, like a Kurt Cobain kind of figure. You would say, well, he's not necessarily talented in some sort of narrow sense of like, you know, technical guitar ability or singing or whatever, but like in terms of maybe pioneering or innovating or whatever, he was talented. You know, he had something unique. So anyway, but you have to clarify. But then you get to the, but you get to the best of whatever it is, sport, music, whatever. Then suddenly everyone knows you, and that's where your fame comes from.
Well, to revise it, Andy, I think when I hear talent, what I was trying to say is you are it's a performance-based talent, i.e. an athlete. You know, you're some kind of competitive athlete, and it's very, very clear. Your success does not come from how you look, for example. It's actually like winning a game, right? And I think that like that to me garners a lot of respect, because you're not kind of getting by on your looks or your connections is the ultimate meritocracy in a lot of ways. Not always, because of team sports need money and things like that, and there's advantage. But, you know, like if you look at tennis or fighting or whatever, it's like the best man wins, right? And that's like the ultimate vision of meritocracy, right?
But it does pay to be that plus attractive or plus likable, right? And, you know, I have no doubt that Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal are going to continue to be higher value, you know, let's say ambassadors, if you like, for Rolexes than Novak Djokovic will ever be, right?
Well, I mean, he's the ambassador for Hublot, so that tells you everything you need to know. but still, I mean, yes, okay, like there's that, and I think in that particular scenario, it's more than just looks. Like Novak's not a terrible looking guy.
No, it's not looks. It's just he's just been painted. He's never been painted as a likable guy, right? Those others two, Rafael Nadal and Federer, whether because they genuinely are nice guys, they've always been painted as like they're all around. Like they've got a good PR machine behind them, both of them.
It's complicated, but they have the ideals of sportsmanship there, right? Like they've got the charisma, they've got the sportsmanship. Novak doesn't have that, right? And that's not just all spin. There's something there, but you can't take away that Novak's the GOAT when it comes to metrics, right? So I think that's what I mean. So I kind of put athletes and competitive athletes in one very, very solid boundary of celebrity.
Yeah, all right. Well, I mean, I'm kind of happy to like throw in other kind of pursuits as well. Like I think being the best at something, whether it's like, I think you latched onto sport as talent because it's like, oh, that's objectively,
yeah, this is clean.
Like there's no impurity. Whereas you could look at acting and you can say, well, are you really the best actor, or are you just the person who like, you know, like is kind of marketable?
Like
and that's
the arts, right? The arts are very subjective.
Well, I guess maybe the question I'd ask is like, is Chris Hemsworth like really the best actor? Like to be, you know, like, and
there are no small parts.
And in fact, I know he isn't, because I remember, you know, we were talking about, wasn't he like,
he was also in Homeway.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm thinking, was he like connected to Becky Cartwright?
I think so at some stage. Show? Look, Chris Hemsworth isn't even the best actor in his own family, let alone like.
But you know, anyway, but still, like but then there's talent like along like, let's say looks or some other metric of like indicator of like marketability, like that at every like given level you would say, well, your talent at doing what you do is like, I mean, maybe comedians are like a better example, because like you can objectively be like, I don't think comedians are typically attractive.
No, it actually works against them.
Yeah.
Actually, we don't tend to like good-looking comedians.
Yeah, so it's I think that would be another example, and like I do think music is another one where it is actually like, unless you're talking like pop stars and stuff like that, once you get beneath that kind of level, it actually is, I think, talent. I mean, I mentioned Kurt Cobain before, and you know, yeah, okay, he's not like a shredder on the guitar, but like, is that actually really the definition of talent in that context? It's like, no, hell no. Like, it's a talent, you know, we should see as creativity, and you know, he's an artist, like an art, so, and he's the best artist. Like, people gravitated to that, and it's almost that. Like, I don't think Kurt Cobain was popular or Nirvana was popular because everyone thought Kurt Cobain was attractive. Like, that wasn't the thing, right? So
didn't hurt.
No, but like it, even just to invent the image of like grunge, right? Is that's art in its own right. But there was nothing remarkable about him, like looks wise. I think there's like nowadays though, like this talent based kind of fame or celebrity was like, yeah, that's the like the old money, right?
Yeah.
But the new money now is very much this like almost celebrity for celebrity's sake.
Yeah,
so
famous for being famous, right?
Like reality TV. I was reading like Selim Mahaja. He was in jail for 3 years and he's been released or something. Anyway, but he's like the perfect example of like famous for being just infamous, like almost
Yeah,
like,
that's
and
true.
you know, obviously reality TV is another one.
It's got to be Kim Kardashian, right? I mean, Kim Kardashian, Paris Hilton, they I think it's like, it goes back that far for me, I think, that, you know, these people are famous for being famous. They're socialites, and reality TV stars, and they don't, yeah. And yet you could probably argue the talent, they have talent of a different kind, or, you know, work ethic or whatever it is, but it's a totally different game now, right? And if you follow that thread to influencers now, that gets even, those waters get even murkier. There's these people that are like incredibly influential, but you can't really put your finger on what they like. Why?
Well, okay, well let's separate reality, like Kardashian reality TV style kind of fame, from that internet sort of fame, because I actually think they can be quite different. So, and by internet fame, I'm like including things like YouTubers
Like
as well,
Mr. Beast or something.
Yeah, because I think reality TV style fame there's a certain vacuousness to it, but I don't think that's necessarily true for these content creators, because I think these content creators, like say Mr. Beast, like he is pretty impressive, like what he's done, like as a businessman, I mean, he's basically created, like, you know, a top TV show all on his own. He's done everything single-handedly. He's the star, he's the producer, he's the content, like, I mean, of course he pays people now to do it, but like he literally did everything himself, you know, built the whole thing. And of course he had a lot of help along the way, you know, but he had to get us to a certain size to get help, right? And I think there's a certain respect that I have for the content creator and the people who hustle, right? I'll let you chime in, but I do want to loop back and give an example, a few examples of the hustling.
Yeah, you know, I agree. There's definitely levels to it, and I feel anyone who is trying to create content in a more meaningful way, like that's a hard thing to do. And when people rise to the top, you know, I do respect that. The one caveat to that is that there is this really insidious, nefarious thing about the algorithm that actually some people, I'm not talking about Mr. Beast now, but some people that are obviously, you know, just first movers in a category, just by the way that the algorithm works, that, you know, big accounts are served up and they're more likely to take off. I wonder whether there's a lot of that going on, that actually, like, if you took that same person and that same content creator and they had to start again with no following, that they would just be forgotten like most people.
I think that's true, but like there is a relationship between how hard you work and your success. And like one of the examples, you know, as Roger knows, I watch like a lot of these auditing kind of videos, right, where these people go around filming shit and riling people up, and it's like the guiltiest pleasure ever, because I know it's so I know it's so bad, like I know it's so vacuous, but there's this one guy, and he like, to be honest, he's probably like a loser. Like, I won't say which channel he is, but he probably is actually really a loser in life, like, to be completely 100% honest with you. But he's worked fucking hard, right? So he started off like copying other channels, like even to the point of like calling his channel very similar to another top channel, like literally just like one letter like different, and it sounded the same. And he did literally exactly the same thing. And he got like a little bit of the crumbs, like maybe, you know, for some confused, you know, people who like that other channel that got confused, watched that. And, you know, maybe he got like 1/10 of the views of the other guy.
I thought this was Oporto, but this is Ogalo.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. But he used those crumbs, and he built on that such that he now gets more views than the original guy.
Sounds like you're describing the Samsung Apple saga all over again.
And like he's but he keeps changing, like, and he's out there every day, and he changes and evolves. Like he meets, and he, like, so if someone's doing something else that's getting more views, he just starts copying that. And so now he's doing something different. He's got the same name channel, but he's just like transitioned to doing completely different content where he's completely different to the other guy. But like this guy's like, now remember I said this is a guy who's not anything special. He's not like a Mr. Beast kind of, well, I assume Mr. Beast is charismatic, but he's not charismatic, this guy. but just through like pure hustle, this guy has had, I'm just pulling up, views of his videos, 102 million views.
Wow. See, this is what I mean. Like, we're talking about a different game here with the algorithm, right? But
that's not. But the point I want to make to you, Roger, is that's not the algorithm. That's just hard work. Like,
well, come on. Let's just a few things though, Andy. Like, so Mr. Beast talks about this all the time, right? So for those who don't know, I don't know why I wouldn't know. He's like, Mr. Beast gets what 50 million, 100 million views per when he releases a piece of content, right? There are people out there literally waiting for it to drop, and they will recreate it almost frame by frame, except, they're Chinese or Indian or whatever. And there's like a few dozen of these people, and he's spoken about it before. And they, just because they've done that, they get the crumbs of, a couple of million views, right? So they're literally like, the whole model is they wait for him to drop an episode and they will try to copy it frame by frame. You know what I mean? And they still, like, that's still a viable way for them to make money. So I don't know, like.
Well, but just to tell the story of this guy, right? He started off like views of his videos, like so 100 million views, right?
Yeah.
So this is not small change, right? But he started off, he would get, and I remember watching when he would get like 5,000 viewers a video. So 5,000 views a video is not a lot. Like it's, it's. I mean, you have to pass some gate like threshold to get 5,000 views, so it's not nothing. And it's like viable to like, okay, like I've got something here, like I might grow it. But like he had a lot of videos getting like 5,000 views, then 10, 15,000 views a video, then 30, 40,000 views a video. Like he went through, his growth was very gradual, and he hasn't had many videos over like 1 million views. Like his videos are like, maybe a good video is like 200,000. But the 100 million views are like lots of just slogging away doing like, and just sticking to it. And it's hard work. So I guess I have a certain, like as vacuous as the whole auditing thing is, I have a respect for the hard work. This guy gets people come up to him on the street.
Oh, I mean, it's
like,
a good feeling. It must be a good feeling for him.
He'll have at least 10, 20 people come. And it's funny because I remember watching him when he never got recognized. No one knew who he was. And anyway, it's just, I've seen this kind of dynamic change. So I have a respect for hard work.
Isn't it actually, in a weird way, they've democratized the American dream, but for celebrity? That you're someone that can start off with a couple of hundred, couple of thousand, and then if you work hard, you may be a celebrity one day. Like isn't that the American dream?
All right. Well, celebrity for ugly people.
Celebrity for ugly people.
Or what's the saying? Politics. What's the saying?
Yeah, that is the saying, isn't it?
I don't know. I think I butchered it. Something for ugly people. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So you know how sometimes you'll walk to the train station and there's an election cycle going on, and you'll kind of like, you kind of in the lead up, you'll see all the billboards with the members and things like that, or whatever it is. And then sometimes, you're walking to the train station and then you're like, oh, is actually that politician there who's out there, pressing the flesh. Do you ever, like, what level does it have to be at for you to feel some level of celebrity influence?
So just to loop back, ChatGPT has helped me. Show business for ugly people.
That does sound
sorry.
Right.
I really did butcher that. So that,
like, what level
that's
does that
weird. For
you to be like, because that happens all the time, right? Like you see billboards of people and then that actual person is standing there trying to give you a leaflet, right? Yeah. But like what level of like, oh, I met Anthony Albanese the other day or whatever it is, right? Like
I think politicians are a funny one because most people, like, I don't think many people, like, kind of, other than the fact that they are a famous person and that they're on the news or there's like other people would know who you're talking about if you said you saw that person. Like, no one really admires or respects politicians, right? Really? Oh, yeah, okay, unless you're a fan, boy or girl, right? Like, unless you're really, like, into that party or
like lefties.
Yeah. But then, like, that's because you're a fan, boy or girl, right? Like, but I think most people on the street don't really care about who the agriculture minister is, right? Like, this is not like people just don't care. Like there's no clout. You have no clout from saying, "Oh, I bumped into the innovation minister." You know, like this is just doesn't float anyone's boats.
You follow
right?
me
But then
back
you
on LinkedIn.
but you do get 100% totally think like, you know, Obama you'd have clout if you met Obama,
I'm talking
right?
just Australian here, right?
Okay, Australia.
USA is a different deal.
Yeah, I think it's the same principle in the USA too, but just bigger stakes. But
like Malcolm Turnbull, right? Like I reckon that's a good benchmark.
Yeah,
you'd tell someone like if you ran into Malcolm Turnbull, you'd tell someone.
Well, I mean, I can say that I've had a glass of wine with Malcolm Turnbull.
Were you serving the wine?
No, I was. It was you know, to add to my Slash story, but
followed them back to the hotel. Fun meeting you here at the lobby.
I do think that there's that you know, I was reflecting the other day actually. There's just something about being out there as a politician that is quite stressful in a way that I think the community doesn't respect. Like not just how hard they work, but actually the I think they probably do get desensitized to it over time. And I think that you'd have to, but like imagine you're like every word you utter and people are like looking for you to misspeak or to say something like slightly wrong, like
just the opportunity for ego degradation of like on a mass scale of anything you do. Like people just talk to you in the most uncharitable way all the time and dehumanize you.
But also like slipping up, like like it's. I mean, I've reflected on it because it's one of those things where you've got to be really outspoken. People have got to think of you as like standing for something. They've got to see you as being like, to cut through, you've got to say like bold stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's the only way you get ahead kind of thing as a politician. But it's such a fine line between doing that and being bold and brave and going too far and saying something stupid or, you know, not towing the party line on something. Yeah. You've got so many constraints that limit you and like there's such an art to navigating that line that I think, that's a tough gig, that one.
Yeah. I mean, of course, right, of course. But with the side of megalomania, so it's hard to feel sorry for a politician for too long. Yeah. Okay, I want to talk about one other category. What about the Zoolander aspect? Like, what about just models? People who are literally, their talent is looking amazing.
No, they've got a strut in the right way.
Oh, the walk.
Do you know I used to watch when I had all that time in the world when I was at uni.
Next Top Model.
I used to watch it. Yeah, what was it? Australia's Next Top Model, or I think that they had the Australian one and then they had the American one. I used to watch it. Like I used to find it really interesting. Like,
you know what's actually quite interesting about that? A lot of the hopefuls on those shows, they have children. Like some of the model aspiring models, they've already had kids. And I think that the key factor there is that if you have a child when you're a teenager, you bounce back pretty well.
Just the one thing I remember from that show, though, is they did try and sort of give the impression that it was this like highly skilled thing.
And hard work.
Yeah, I actually would believe that it is hard work because like I think they have to probably, there's a lot of stuff they've probably got to do.
I have a bit of first-hand experience in this, Andy. I don't know whether I ever told you this, but when I was at
modelling for Aldi catalogs doesn't count.
No, let me get there. I had this contact who worked for Schwarzkopf, which is a like the hair product place. Like they make gels and stuff like that. I think they're still around. But anyway, so they have like a hair institute where they do hair modelling, and I got conned into doing a few sessions of that when I was at uni. And so you go in and they kind of like do your hair up in a certain way, and you'd have to kind of take some photos and walk a certain way. And I've got to say, the whole thing is very, very you're manhandled, and you're not really treated like a person. You're treated more like a prop, and it's uncomfortable. It's like it's not fun. It's not what you think. And of course,
So you're like a hand model,
well, a hair model, I suppose.
Hair model. Wait, what's in the hierarchy? Like, what's hair model or hand model?
Well, I mean, I guess hair model, your face is in it at least. That's got to count for something, right? But
Well, it doesn't have to be. You know, they can like swatch you out with
probably. Well, we're just looking for the profile shot. But either way, you know, that was my only experience with anything like that. But and it was only half a dozen times. But it's not fun. It's not good work, right? And of course, we're talking about like the D tier of modeling here. But it's like anything. It's a trade. It's a graft, right?
Okay. Well, modeling. Do you think there's
And they're really fucking rough with your hair as well. Like, and you can't really complain because everyone's getting treated like that.
Let's push this one. So, okay, so let's say we're comparing model. We're picking that as like a vacuous thing that's like, and by the way, I don't think models are that famous. Like, I think there's people in the fashion
Not anymore, but
industry.
I think when we were growing up, they were actual supermodels.
But that's probably, the supermodel thing was, they were famous not just because they were models. They were famous because they were like,
They partied a lot.
They were the equivalent of real, like the manufactured celebrity thing back in the day. It was like famous. It was like
Kate Moss, right? Take someone like Kate Moss, right?
Yeah, but it was like Kim Kardashian kind of has taken that space. So there was this. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, okay. So models like some vacuous, like there's no innate sort of thing other than like your God-given kind of beauty or whatever. But just to unpack that a little bit, I mean, yeah, okay, some part of beauty is God-given. But a lot of beauty isn't. Like a lot of beauty is hard work. Like it is, keeping fit. It's taking care of your like skin, or doing a lot of different things, or making a lot of sacrifices as well.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's a bit of hard work. And you can also say like with any of these things we've talked about, whether it's even sport and maybe even especially sport, there is an acting and being a politician and whatever, some like all of these things do depend on your kind of endowments, right? Like what you're born with. Like, are you born with the metal to be that kind of a person, whatever it is, right? And it's not like not all of us could just be that person. Like not all of us could play at the Football World Cup if we just happen to work hard enough, or like there's certain things that are like natural talent, right?
There's a threshold of natural ability or talent, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I mean, hard work. I genuinely don't buy that we could all be.
No, of course not.
Anything, right? So
of course not. And if you read Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 Hours and you somehow thought you're just 10,000 hours away from being the next Beatles, then you read that book wrong.
But yeah, like I think with models and stuff, I'd say they're underrated in that sense. And that maybe some of the other categories are overrated in terms of.
Okay.
Like there's probably some in relative terms, right?
Let's kind of bring it to a point I want to pose a last question to you, and this is something that I think is uniquely Australian, or maybe swimming in this culture for us. Tall poppy syndrome. Right, there's something about Australian culture and that doesn't want to hand over the fandom or the idealization or whatever it is to celebrities, and we like to see in some ways the kind of trimming of these tall poppies, right, and bringing people down a peg, and that's probably why we love sports so much, because we feel like it's a little bit more egalitarian. But I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
I think there's something magical about cutting someone down to the point that you start to feel sorry for them and you want to build them back up again. So, and I don't know if that's part of...
It happens too quick nowadays. That's the problem. It's like within hours.
But like...
Look at the Coldplay thing.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, that's like a classic example. Like, they get cut down and it's like,
it's like
actually, like cake. Everyone's gone too far. Like, maybe we should... but there's like everyone loves the redemption story. Like that's part of it. And I think
I get you. But I'm talking more about like the initial propensity or the inclination to want to kind of not let anyone get too big for their boots in Australian culture.
I actually don't know that that's
you don't think that's still true?
I don't think it's as real a thing as I think this is just a thing that we say we've got here in Australia. But I don't think that's actually unique.
It is though, because we don't.
Us.
Well,
not for celebrities. So I think
sporting
we've got
people, absolutely.
So
like,
I think,
look at someone like a Nick Kyrgios. If you don't play by certain ideals of Australian sportsmanship, you get cut down pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. Like, I think it's true in, like, say, business and, like, politics. So I think people don't like
self-aggrandizing kind of people.
So like US presidential politics would never work in Australia, because the moment, like, look at Albanese, right? He's like, oh yeah, I'm going to have a sausage sandwich at sausage sizzle at the Bunnings, and I'm one of you guys. I go to the Rabbitohs and I'm here with you, like that's just not presidential behavior, right? But that's what you need to do to be successful here in Australia.
Having any affairs? What's going on here? This guy's got no hose.
And definitely like business and kind of business like we don't respect kind of business leaders in the way that they probably do in America or something, So I think there's some different, and the other thing is like the tall poppy syndrome probably got its roots from us trying to differentiate ourselves from the mother country, like that we don't support class, we don't in hierarchy, we don't support the institutions of whatever, of elite institutions. We don't care which private school you went to.
Unless you live in Brisbane.
Or whatever, what's the what do they call them? The public schools, like Eton and all that sort of stuff. Like that, we don't like. In fact, that's where tall poppy syndrome comes into place. Like, we actually don't like you if you think you're better because you went to that school or come from that lineage or whatever. So I think that's what tall poppy syndrome is in the Australian context. I don't think it's necessarily bringing down celebrities. I think the phenomenon of tearing down celebrities because it's kind of fun to watch is not an Australian thing.
Interesting take.
Well, look at like Britney Spears and how like that was, her meltdown. Like so many of these celebrities have gone down through their meltdown moments, right? And we love it. Like everyone loves it. Like
I don't think that's what
shipwreck kind of thing.
Tall poppy is the defining element of tall poppy syndrome from an Australian context. I think it's more that we don't love it when people get too big for their boots, right? And what that net can be cast quite wide, whether, like you said, it's too much aggrandizing or self-promotion or a certain kind of brashness to their success. I think it's those kind of things, we can turn on our sports stars very quickly as well.
I think there was definitely a moment around, and it probably had its peak around the Olympics, right, where there was such a strong sensibility of what it meant to be Australian and like a real pride in being Australian. And I'm thinking like a Pat Rafter or
Donald
Steve
Bradman
Waugh
stuff, right?
No, but even like that's old.
No, but that's like the ideal is what I mean.
Yeah, but I don't think. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think Don Bradman's. There's a bit of he doesn't have the best reputation either, right? So I think probably
Pat Rafter's a good one.
Pat Rafter's like he's got and that, there was a certain time where it's like the good Aussie bloke,
Dawn Fraser,
who's proud of the Australian flag, who's there to support Australia, like really into Australia and supporting Australia. Model. Yeah, like that kind of moment. This was the height of like the Olympics, the 2000 Olympics. We and to be fair, we had like a pretty. And this is why like it was so good, like the era we grew up in, right? Like we were like we'd won the Rugby World Cup in '99, we won Cricket World Cup in '99 as well, and then every other year for however many years afterwards, we did well at the Olympics. Like we had all these things that we were doing really well at, and it was just such a we're like on top of the world when it comes to all these things, right? And it was a real prideful time for Australia. And then I think it was probably the Cronulla riots that I think kind of where people started to feel a little bit of like, oh, okay, I'm not sure if we like the Southern Cross tattoo and the nationalistic kind of stuff is quite we're not kind of into that anymore sort of thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we need to find our next target, don't we, Andy? To meet at the airport, to stalk at the airport. Let's put together a short list.
I'd say Donald Trump, but I don't think Albo's ever going to meet him.
we should make it a Roger and Andy goal to make it to Mar-a-Lago
Can you imagine if Albo like can't get his meeting with Trump, so he just like stalks him at the airport? I mean, that's kind of what's happening. Like he's still.
Yeah.
You're going to G20 meeting? Oh yeah, I'm going. Oh yeah, I might go as well. Next thing you know, like, quick, get on the flight. We need to go.
I'll see you at the cookout. You just have to offer him a plane, a private jet.
And get a selfie.
Or maybe some tickets to the UFC.
All right. Over and out.
Over and out.